And a woman comes to me, and she doesn't know me, I don't know her. She said, I read your book and I felt like I was to pay your salary this year because you're going to start something with the youth of America that'll change the destiny of the nation in prayer. And I don't know who that, I do know who that lady is. I took her money, and she's been paying my salary for 8 years. 84 years old. And her whole dream is that through prayer, a nation could turn back to God. And I'm thinking, God. Then she comes to me 3 months later. She's ever thought about putting kids on the mole like Promise Keepers? I said, ma'am, I prophesied it. She said, I'll give you $100,000 to start it, which launched a supernatural movement that fought 300,000 to 400,000 kids and adults gathered together in 2000 before the elections to cry out to God. I believe God answers those prayers, and the prayers shifted the Supreme Court in 2000. Not just those prayers, but the prayers of the church all across America. And we did 7 of those calls, and then James Gull gave me a prophetic word after the call in Dallas. I've never seen a stadium filled. Seen 30,000 or 40,000 in them. And he said the call would die, but in 3 years it would be resurrected. In 2001, I had the most profound dream in which he showed me that there were 7 cities that were going to have calls, and one of them was Nashville. We did all those other ones that I had in my dream, but I never did Nashville until now. I'll tell you about the story, but wait. For the Lord, I think, is in a process. Can I tell you, is this okay? I'm telling my drama and our drama. And it's your drama, and it's the nation's drama. If he could do it for Gehazi, he could do it for us, as leprous as we are. As leprous as a generation is. What I'm saying is there's converging stories. You have a story. We have, and when the streams begin to flow into one river, I am telling you, Jezebel can be removed from office. The sexual immorality of the church could be cleansed by a great awakening. And the altars of Baal and the issue of abortion could be ended, like the civil rights and slavery was ended. Because when men and women pray, all bets are off. All things become possible. From a whisper, there begins to be a shout. After the call, I'm flying home from Canada. I'm reading a book by William Wilberforce. I'm reading the book. He's talking about this guy, and he said for the rest of his life, it would be the greatest thing he could ever do was to give his whole life for the ending of the slave trade. And the Spirit of God fell on me in the plane. And the Lord spoke to me, the rest of your life, I'm calling you to raise up a movement of prayer to end abortion in America. And I'm just weeping on the plane. I look back now, and I'm thinking, it's part of a nation turning back to God. We're still on the first whisper, but the whisper begins to grow. I don't know what to do with such a word like that. Just begin to pray for the ending of abortion. Cindy Jacobs, you know who she is. Kind of scary lady. She just started prophesying me one day. She says, Lou, if you don't lead those kids to the Supreme Court, God will remove you and put someone else in your place. I'm thinking, nice prophecy. I said, Cindy, I got to hear that one from God. But amazingly, after the call, I started this thing called the Cause. And I don't know even how it happened. It just happened. I didn't know how it happened. Dreams started coming, and we just decided that the dreams were from God. We didn't just decide. We began to follow the whispers of God. And it's a risk to do these things. You're a weirdo. But I'll tell you what, if you live for self-preservation, that's what you'll get. Or you can say, for such a time as this, we'll risk it all just for one chance to say, you can take our lives, but you can never take our freedom. I gathered kids from across America, 50 days and 50 nights, and we just tell the story. We got time. I could just tell the story. 50 days and 50 nights of intercession. I told these kids, I told the kids that gathered there in 2004, we need to have a pro-life president for the ending of abortion and to get righteous judges. I said, kids, at the beginning of this thing, it will be said of you, like Churchill said, I said to them, you are the RAF, the Royal Air Force. You must win the battle in the heavens or we lose the nation. And I said, it will be said of you, like Churchill said, never has so much been owed by so many to so few. And for 50 days and 50 nights, we prayed for the African American church that prophets will arise and carry on this true civil rights movement of the ending of abortion. We prayed that, we just prayed. And on the 48th night, I run into this guy in Colorado Springs. I asked him to come speak at the church, where we're holding the prayer meetings. At the end of his message, for some reason, he just kind of flips out of teacher mode into prophet mode. And he says, you, to these kids, are the RAF. Never has so much been owed by so many to so few. I'm looking at all the kids. What I tell you is, I believe there's a prayer movement that is coming that is not just holding prayer meetings. It is a kind of prayer that says, we will not stop until we have won the battle. It is a siege mentality, not an event mentality. It is attack and conquer, not say we had a good prayer meeting. Now, I am for prayer meetings. I've held prayer meetings since 22. But I'm telling you, there is a movement of prayer coming that's going to shake the principality. It's already on us. It is on us. We are in a prayer for affirmation all across America, wherever I go. Kids are praying 24/7. Everybody's talking about it. What is it? In universities all across America, 24/7 prayer meeting. God is going to challenge the gods in the universities. He's going to challenge it with his governmental center. His house of prayer will contend. Anyway, out of that 50 days and 50 nights, we decided we'd go to D.C. I'm just going to tell you the story because it's just a good story. I have a spiritual son named Brian Kim. He's Korean. He looks like me. He's been you talk about the love of God. The ministry of a young generation to the fathers. Something's going on. Young people, find some fathers and mothers and serve them and love on them. I tell you what, there's a movement of 2 generations coming together. 3 generations. It's why everyone's thinking adoption right now. It's spirit of Elijah beginning to rumble in the land. It's stronger than Jezebel's dominion. I tell you, God is searching the church to see if they love babies more than homosexual couples. It's coming, I'm telling you. The church is being tested to see if they love children. God. And I'm flying. We drive to D.C., and this young spiritual son has been 2 years eating no meats and no sweets, praying for the ending of abortion. It's a new breed. It's the Daniels. He's on this Daniel fast for 2 years, praying for the ending of abortion. And when President Bush is elected, he says, God, we've got a pro-life president. Starting to get excited. I got a pro-life president. I'm breaking my fast tonight at midnight. I want to eat cake unless you confirm to me. You want me to keep on my Daniel fast? That night, at 10 o'clock at night, he's going to study at his library at the university. He sees a guy he doesn't know. He says, hello, my name's Brian Kim. And the kid says, hello, my name's Daniel Fast. You know what it tells me? It's not a joke. He says, son, you are highly esteemed in heaven. You're moving demons and angels. You stay on this thing. And now I tell the story, and kids all across America, they begin to do Daniel fast. There's a rumble going on. It's a generation that's extreme, being prepared for the shaking of the thrones of Baal in the nation. Want to hear something really crazy? Before the elections, he stood up for his whole class in the political system, in the political science class, and he told them that the evangelicals are going to turn this vote in 2000, and they mocked him. After the elections, he's in class, and the teacher got up and said, Brian Kim has proved this all wrong. He can say anything he wants to for the next 15 minutes. I don't know what he said. But then 2 days later, his professor, who is totally against his ideals and principles, his professor calls him and said, Brian, come to my office at 7:30 in the morning tomorrow. I've got to talk to you. He goes into the professor's office, and the professor says, I had a dream last night. And in the dream, I saw a book, and it was titled, In the Name of God. And he thought that this must be a book that he's to pitch to his publisher because he's a well-written author in America. And as he reads down in the dream, it's written by Brian Kim, and it's his thesis. And the professor says to Brian, I feel like I'm to pitch your thesis all across America on the evangelical vote that changes America. That is nothing less than Nebuchadnezzar getting a shift. I'm telling you, there's a generation of kids that are coming to God is able to shake these thrones.